Here I am every day still using a tablet. In fact, it's an Amazon Fire tablet that last year I got as a gift and modded to be able to just use as a regular Android tablet. By default, these Fire tablets are bogged down by just tons of Amazon bloatware. They're constantly throwing Amazon ads in your face, and of course that's why you're able to buy what is a pretty good tablet at a price that's less than $100. I mean, I think around the holidays you can probably even get these around $70, maybe even as low as $50. There's tons of different models available. I have the Fire HD8, but really what you want to look for is one that lists on its spec sheet that it has at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. Mine has 2 gigabytes of RAM. That's merely okay. If you get one that has 3 gigabytes of RAM, which exist, that would be better. If you want to use one of these things, it's really necessary to download the Fire Toolbox on a Windows PC, plug the device in, and actually get those Amazon components taken off so that every single time you open up the lock screen, you're not being hammered with ads and you're not restricted to using the Amazon App Store to get your apps. This will let you use Google Play, use a regular Android launcher, and overall, mine is set up to look just like my Pixel phone using the Lawn Chair launcher. So I want to go into detail about the things I actually use this for and why I think it's worth still owning one even in 2022, even if you're an adult and you're not a small child, because I get that everybody wants to give their kid a tablet and I think it's a great thing for a kid to use, but it's great for adults too. Personally, I watch a lot of content at home, be it YouTube videos, Netflix, different streaming services, things like that. I don't always want to turn on the TV to watch them, and if I'm going to be watching them while I'm eating or something, I don't want to do it on my phone. It's just a smaller device, and I like to use a bigger screen if possible, and the Fire tablet has been a great way for me to do that. So I have, a variety of streaming services on my tablet, obviously. I use YouTube TV instead of traditional cable, so I have that on the tablet and just adds to me another screen that I'm able to watch cable on, so that the regular YouTube app, Tubi, Netflix, some of these other streaming services I have on here. I don't really use it for gaming. I know some people have talked on YouTube about using it as an emulation device. It works okay. You're not even probably going to get Nintendo 64 to run on one of these ones with 2 gigabytes of RAM like I have, and I'm not sure about the little bit better, the 10-inch model or whatnot, if they can run Nintendo 64, but if you're not using a, Bluetooth controller, it's going to be hard to hold on to something of this size and use on-screen buttons, so overall, it's just something that I avoid. I do have Retro Bowl on here. I think that that's fun to play on a tablet, and there are some games that are fun to play on a tablet, but primarily, unless you're a child, you probably aren't going to be playing a ton of games on this. You're going to use it more to view content, be it through those streaming apps or through some sort of reading application. So personally, I use the app ReadEra and another called Comic Screen. Comic Screen is one that's specifically designed to read, really large PDF files. In this case, gaming magazines. I like to go on a website called Retro Mag where you can get a ton of old gaming magazines. You can download them from there for free. They're scans of, 1990s Game Pro magazines, early 2000s Nintendo Power, stuff like that. And I like being able to read through that on this 8-inch screen. If I tried to read that on my phone, it would be so small, I'd have to constantly be zooming in. And yes, I am zooming in to the pages on an 8-inch screen because obviously this was printed on a much larger piece of paper in the physical magazine when it was originally created. So the font is relatively small, but I'm not zooming in as much as I'd have to on the phone, where it'd be hard to kind of take in the look, feel, and layout of that page. So I do like to read those retro gaming magazines on there, ebooks through the app ReadEra, and then I also have another app called, and I'm probably going to say it incorrectly, but Tachyami, which I'll have a link to it down in the description. It's basically an app that has a whole database of different mangas you can read. You read them through the cloud. They're just available there. So that's a fun app to be able to check out if you're into reading any mangas. I looked at some of the older Pokemon mangas on there, and I haven't got around to reading a ton of stuff on there, but it seems like a great service that gets updated regularly. And lastly, I use the tablet a lot for Reddit. You're able to kind of dual screen in the Bacon Reader Reddit app, and I'm not sure about some of the other Reddit apps, but using it in a landscape view like this allows you to actually navigate all of your different posts on the left side while having a post open in the right side. Kind of gives you a dual screen sort of perspective all within Reddit. Now, multitasking between apps on a device like this isn't great. I try to keep it to one app at a time, so switching between actual apps is more difficult, but at least within the Bacon Reader Reddit app, you can kind of have that sort of multitasking experience. And I think it's worth adding that while this is a very cheap device and traditionally you don't think you need a case for it just because it is is so inexpensive, it's worth getting a case for the sole purpose of the device having a kickstand, because this is something that you're going to be watching a lot of stuff on, reading a lot of stuff on. Having to constantly prop it up yourself or lean it against something is not ideal, especially with how narrow it is. It easily slides away from anything you seem to prop it against. So it's much easier to just get yourself a case that has a kickstand on so you can kick that out and actually have it supported that way for all of your viewing angles. So I know we're about a month after the holidays, and this is not anymore the ideal time to buy one of these tablets because they are oftentimes heavily discounted before Christmas, but I still think that they're worth picking up, especially for the value that they provide once you get that Amazon bloatware off of them. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.